Welcome to Global View. Join us on this multi-visual journey around the world. Pence, U.S. has the strongest economy in the history of the world. So just listen.
Since the earliest days of this administration, President Trump has been determined to build a relationship with China on a foundation of candor, fairness, mutual respect, in order to achieve, in his words, a more just, secure, and peaceful world. 1 year ago this month, I spoke about many of Beijing's policies most harmful to America's interests and values, from China's debt diplomacy, military expansionism, its repression of people of faith, construction of a surveillance state, and of course, to China's arsenal of policies inconsistent with free and fair trade, including tariffs, quotas, currency manipulation, forced technology transfer, and industrial subsidies. Past administrations have come and gone, and all were aware of these abuses. None were willing to upset the established Washington interests, who not only permitted these abuses, but often profited from them. The political establishment was not only silent in the face of China's economic aggression and human rights abuses, but they often enabled them. As each year passed, as each factory closed in the heartland of America, as each new skyscraper went up in Beijing, American workers grew only more disheartened, and China grew only more emboldened. In less than 2 short decades, we've seen, as President Trump has said, the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of the world. Over the past 17 years, China's GDP has grown by more than 9-fold. It has become the second largest economy in the world. Much of this success was driven by American investment in China. Beijing's actions have contributed to the United States trade deficit with China that last year ran to more than $400 billion, nearly half of our global trade deficit. As President Trump has said many times, we rebuilt China over the past 25 years. No truer words were spoken, but those days are over. As history will surely note, in less than 3 years, President Donald Trump has changed that narrative forever. No longer will America and its leaders hope that economic engagement alone will transform Communist China's authoritarian state into a free and open society that respects private property, the rule of law, and international rules of commerce. Instead, as the President's 2017 National Security Strategy articulated, the United States now recognizes China as a strategic and economic rival. And I can attest firsthand, a strong majority of the American people in the city and on the farm are behind President Trump's clear-eyed vision of the U.S.-China relationship. And the President's stand also enjoys broad bipartisan support in the Congress as well. Over the past year, with that support, President Trump has taken bold and decisive action to correct the failed policies of the past, to strengthen America, to hold Beijing accountable, and to set our relationship on a more fair, stable, and constructive course for the good of both our nations and the world. When our administration took office, China was on track to become the largest economy in the world. Experts predicted that China's economy would surpass the United States economy in just a few short years. But thanks to the bold economic agenda advanced by President Trump, all that has changed. From early on in this administration, this president signed the largest tax cuts and tax reform in American history. We lowered the American corporate tax rate to mirror other corporate rates around the world. We rolled back federal regulation at record levels. We unleashed American energy, and President Trump has stood strong for free and fair trade. The result? America has the strongest economy in the history of the world. And the strongest economy in our own history. Unemployment today is at a 50-year low. There are more Americans working today than ever before. Median household income in the last 2.5 years has risen by more than $5,000. And that doesn't even account for the savings from the president's tax cuts or energy reforms for working families.
China tells us to mind its own business after Pence's speech. So just listen.
I want to get to this story. Vice President Pence criticizing China over human rights and stealing technology, and China firing back. Let's go to Edward Lawrence. He's at the White House with more details. Good morning, Edward.
Good morning, Ashley. The Chinese saying that the vice president's speech was full of arrogance, hypocrisy, and lies. A spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry saying that China are pushing back against those human rights accusations and abuses that was in the vice president's speech. That spokesperson saying that China attaches great importance to human rights, then goes on to hit back on the U.S., talking about the wage gap between rich and poor, as well as the U.S. arbitrarily withdrawing from treaties, also mass shootings in the United States. That spokesperson said this. I'm going to read it so I don't get it wrong. We advise some people in the United States to take a good look at themselves in the mirror, to recognize their own problems, to manage their own affairs. Now, on trade, though, the economic development of China, the spokesperson says that China will not threaten the United States or any other country in the world there. They said this was a muted response, really, from the Chinese, but yet telling the U.S. to mind their own business on the other topics.
Something funny I found starring Shaq. Let's watch.
That's why I would not just shut up and dribble, because I mean too much to my two boys here, my wife, my family, and all these other kids that look up to me for inspiration.
Oh, yeah, LeBron James. Oh, you are good. You told the Rockets that they're uneducated and stupid.
Morey, but I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke. And so many people could have been harmed, not only financially, but physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Like the manager of the Rockets that said that Hong Kong deserves freedom. No, that get people hurt. I can tell you've been watching my broadcast. That is how you refer to the Americans as stupid, uneducated. LeBron James knows best. And now some evil Americans have said that he is bad. So he has said that he will no longer speak. Yes.
I'm talking about it now, and I won't talk about it again.
LeBron, shut up and dribble.
Oh, LeBron James has a mandate of heaven now. Oh. And finally, this evening, I have a very special announcement to make to you stupid Americans. Winnie the Pooh was illegal, but now after a long period of re-education, he is now ready to carry out his new job with a slave, good helper servant. Here is LeBron James at the latest exhibition game in Peking. We have issued directives to NBA what they ought to say. Hold on, I'm getting call. Yes, what? Oh, Shaquille O'Neal say what? Show me, let me see.
And one of our best values here in America is free speech. We're allowed to say what we want to say, and we're allowed to speak up about injustices, and that's just how it goes. And if people don't understand that, that's something that they have to deal with.
Tamata ni me going to Shaquille O'Neal. You're the bad American, and we will teach you soon. Our Antifa is preparing to rise up. With deep state, we have paid well. And if you visit Bandar Video, we have to kill you.
You live and work in a state in which the majority of voters voted for the current president. How do you reconcile having called that choice a mistake, that many of those people are also Cavaliers fans?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. At the end of the day, like I said, you can, I don't think a lot of people was educated.
I just caught you, American. You visited Band.video. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg and others angry at you. Do what CNN says and do not visit Band.video or I have to hurt you.